Okay. Hey, this is the Sonic Szilvi Show. I'm Sonic Szilvi, and we're going to be talking about cancel culture today, which is a very big issue nowadays. And my guest is Sky Lesko, who is with me here from Texas. Hey, so yeah, once again, today's topic is cancel culture. My guest is Sky Lesko from Texas.
Hi.
Hi, so nice to see you. Thank you so much for appearing on my show. This is going to be a really interesting topic.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just crazy what's happening.
Controversial.
Cancel culture, fake versus real. That's our topic, and that's gonna be. I don't even know how to start. I mean, let's just start right away. Jump in that diversity is cool.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what it's happened. Diversity is cool, and it seems like that people nowadays have a problem with that. They have a problem that people have different cultures, different opinions, different lifestyles, different tastes, and it seems like everything that goes against the grain, so to say, is has to be canceled, and it's just getting to the point where it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's getting to the point where it's scary. It's
It's true. It's
yeah.
ridiculous, and really, if you think about it, it's scary because we just losing who we are. We are made to lose who we are, and we just talked just before we went live about a nursery rhyme. It's called Black Sheep, and it goes, "Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. One of the master, one of the Dane, and one for the little boy who lives down the lane." This is a nursery rhyme. And I mean, I don't even know how people think, because when I read this, I don't see anything offensive about it, right? And it's like, because I don't know, it's how is that with you, Sky? It's like my mindset when I don't think about racism all day. And
No. You know what I don't understand is, my mother raised me a certain way. I remember specifically when I was 5 years old, she said that love is love. It doesn't matter what color the skin is. And it always stuck with me. And she told me, it you can love anybody. It doesn't matter what color their skin is.
yeah,
Um, and and now I'm being told that I'm a racist because that's how I think. I don't think of color. I just think of the person. Oh, but you're a racist for thinking that way. I don't understand how that makes sense.
that doesn't make any sense. I'm the same way. When I see people, I just see people. I don't
Yes.
even pay attention to skin color. That just like I actually see souls. I try to see beyond the exterior and just see who these people are. And just before I get totally sidetracked, because that happens to me a lot. So about this nursery rhyme, this rhyme has been banned. It's gone. It's canceled. And this rhyme, I don't know how old this is. I forgot to ask the source who gave me this rhyme. It's probably a really ancient, old nursery rhyme where generation grew up with. And by the way, just for these people who like maybe think right now, oh well, Sylvie, this is racist for sure. Can't you see that? No, because what is black sheep? Black sheep means that you are not conforming, that you are different, that you have individuality and you want to express yourself different from the mainstream. That's what black sheep is. It has
Exactly.
absolutely nothing to do with racism. It never has. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, guys out there. you know what I'm saying when you know your family says, "Oh, you're the black sheep of the family." You heard
Yes,
that before. I'm
yes.
sure many of you heard that before because you listen maybe to different music than your family does, or your I don't know, your neighborhood or your people or whatever. You're just different. That's all it means, that you're different. And what's wrong with being different?
Apparently, it nowadays to be different is a problem, and I think that I don't even know where to start with this. It
It's very it's
it's
yeah,
a lot.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. How do we even start? Because it's just so much.
But because okay, so you and I understand what diversity is, right? It is a celebration of all of us and our differences, right? Like we're
Yes.
all different. We come from different cultures. That's what makes us unique. And my understanding is we're supposed to appreciate each other's differences. Um, but it seems like this cancel culture, they say that they're for diversity, but it's like they want to cancel diversity.
Ab-
They,
Absolutely. I
I,
totally agree.
I
It's
mean, they want, it's like a diversity is not all of us thinking the same way, right? Having the same opinion. I mean, that's not diversity.
Yeah, that would make us robots. I mean, imagine living in a world where we all wear the same clothes, like Star Trek,
Uniform.
right? Star
Yeah.
Trek. Everybody has the same clothing. What if everybody listens to the same music, reads the same books, has the same taste, eats the same foods? Wouldn't that be the most boring thing? I mean, just from your window, I just jump out of it right there.
I think a lot of people don't realize that that's where we're heading.
Hmm.
And I mean, for the people that are driving the cancel culture, do they not realize that that's what they're ushering in? Is that what they want? Do they even ask themselves, "This is what I want. I want a world where we all look the same and think the same." And
Oh my God, no, I definitely don't. I mean, I always make this joke, because we bleach our hair. My hair is kind of purple and whatever right now. It's like washed out, but you know how I like to bleach my hair, is bleach blonde. And I always make this joke. If I would live in Sweden, I would have dark hair. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because I definitely don't want to fit in and look like everybody
everyone,
else.
yeah, yeah,
Even though honestly I love being blonde, I love being blonde, but in Sweden that wouldn't be fun.
right,
Because everybody is Swedish blonde there. Or almost everybody. I'm generalization, sorry, but you know, um, so I always want to be me. I always want to stand out. I
right,
come my past is punk rock. I was in the punk rock scene
yeah,
because I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be different. I wanted to fight for certain rights and stuff like that. That's my past. And but here's the thing, what I want to bring up. I want to bring this up so I don't forget. What I have a big problem with is not just that our culture is being canceled, but also that these people throw words at you or at
mm-hmm,
other people that are very serious words. I
mm-hmm,
mean, being called a racist. Okay, racism is a very, very serious thing and violent thing, in my opinion. It is violent, it is brutal, it is totally wrong, and is very serious. And these people use this same horrible word just because, I don't know, you have black cats or whatever, or I don't know, or you, because you buy Uncle Ben's rice, okay? There is no differentiation of that. You just basically think, okay, I don't like this
mm-hmm,
logo or something, okay? And
right,
that's just an opinion, but throwing a serious accusation like that, a serious bad, brutal, horrible word at somebody for y- it's kind of like, if there's two criminals and one is a murderer and the other is like a petty theft, yet they would get the same punishment. You know what I'm saying? It's just not
Mhm.
right.
I know.
I
Um,
mean,
well, I feel like what we're seeing is they are they're changing definitions. So today, the definition of a racist is not the same definition as what it should be, actually.
mhm.
You know, and it's not just about that. It's also about the whole sexism. Like I feel like men are being accused of of sexual harassment just because they said hello to a lady. I mean, that's not okay, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Um, I heard of someone getting accused of being transphobic just because they don't approve of an 8-year-old getting a sex change.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's another horrible topic. I
What
mean,
kind of world are we living in when you're considered transphobic because you don't think an 8-year-old should get a sex change?
that is to me. I mean, that's child abuse. That's completely child abuse in my opinion. Because here's the thing: even as adults, how often do we change our minds? Like, I don't know,
Exactly.
every
Yeah.
year. I change my mind probably every year, every other year about stuff. Like, I like this one year, the next year I don't like it, and I'm thinking, what was I thinking? Or like when you look at your art 10 years ago or 5
Yeah.
years ago, you look at it and like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? That's just not cool. Or, and we do that as adults. Now, a child at that age, even a child when they're 16, they still don't have the capacity to make that kind of life decision, a forever decision that is irreversible. You know, it's I mean, that's a very, very big decision. And I think they have to make that decision, and they have to make the decision when they at the age where they think, okay, this is truly, truly what I want,
Yeah.
without any other influence. Now, don't get me wrong. I am all for that. Everybody should be who they want to be.
Right. Right.
This is about somebody saying, oh, this can be legal now, so the parents can decide, or the child
Mhm.
can decide, or whatever. So, but no, no, I think as a parent, you have to be there and not say, oh, okay, you cannot do that, but to say you can do that when you're older and you really, really sure this is what you want to do.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, the I just don't. Anyways, transphobic, in my opinion, is I have a problem with transgenders. Um, no, no, I'm saying that's an example of what transphobic is, right?
Right.
Someone that has a problem with transgenders, they don't like them, they don't believe, they're not supportive of them, and all that. Not thinking it's okay for an 8-year-old to get a sex change is not being transphobic, and I can't believe that I have to try to explain that to someone.
Mhm.
But
That is,
but
yeah.
that's the kind of world we're living in now. I guess the younger generation, they're getting they're learning stuff in the schools. They're teaching stuff in the schools now that I think they're teaching the white supremacy stuff in the schools now, like about just how everything is white supremacy.
Yeah. And they just literally put it in your head, they put it in your mind. And let's talk about that after the break that we have to take very shortly. So I don't want to start that topic, so let's take a break right now, and
Okay.
Hey, welcome back. We're back here on Relax Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in, whoever's tuned in, or whoever is going to watch it later on in the archives. We are talking about cancel culture, me and Sky. And Sky just brought up a really good point that nowadays, uh, there's a lot of talk about all this, all these racist issues and all this pointing out differences which should be, in my opinion, it shouldn't be pointed out, like when I look at people, I just look at people. That's all I see, and now it's like people are literally fed these thoughts into their minds that they're constantly thinking about that.
Right, right.
I mean, when I was a kid and when I read books or saw brands or whatever, I wasn't thinking racism. I wasn't thinking anything. I just thought, I just always saw people. And I don't understand why this is so hard for people to get that point. We are
Yeah,
just people, and who cares what our skin colors are or hair
right.
colors are? I mean, if we don't discriminate against hair color, why would we discriminate against skin? It makes no sense. It's totally okay to have purple hair, but or like black hair or blonde hair or whatever, but then skin color is just something. It's just the skin color, people. It's just biology. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with it, anything. It's just, we're just humans. you know
Um, this is what I think is that I think that because I wasn't brought up watching the news. You know, I was brought up knowing that the news is evil. It's bad for you. It fills your head up with negativity. It's brainwashing. This constant. I just knew at a young age, this is not good for my head. This is what keeps me in fear. This is what keeps me from enjoying my life. This constant negativity in my head. This is brainwashing. This is programming. So I learned at a young age to stay away from mainstream media.
hmm
And I've learned how to live my life by living my life, by having real life experiences in person, you know, and meeting people and hearing their stories. I don't learn things by watching the news or listening to rumors on the TV. And from what my personal observation has been about the world um, over the years that I've lived, is that I feel like we've come a long way with racism. I mean, when we had a black president, I thought this is so neat. We got a black president. We are, you know, look how far we've come. Look how far we've come as far as women, as far as black women. We've come a long way in the last 100 years when it comes to racism, right? That's what I see with my own eyes. But if I turn on the news, it tells me a completely different story of what's happening. So I'm confused. How is it when I'm living my life, I don't really see racism. I see a mixture of all kinds of people with different colors doing whatever they want with themselves. But then if I turn on the news, they make it sound like we're still, like these people are still, you know, we're still living in oppression. And I feel like a lot of people in the Western culture, they don't realize how good they have it.
hmm
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, and it's and yeah, I totally agree. They have an agenda, and the agenda is pushed to the mainstream media for you to think a certain way, and even
Exactly.
though and when you in real life you don't see that. That's the
I
thing.
know.
You don't see that. I mean, I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist. I'm not saying that
Exactly.
homophobia doesn't exist. I'm not saying that
Exactly.
transphobia exists or all that bad
It does
stuff. It
exist,
does
of course.
exist.
It always
But
will.
it's
Well, if
like,
you got assholes, it's going to exist, you know.
yeah, but it's amplified to unreal, uh what's the word, like to illusion, more
Yeah,
or less, You
Yeah.
know, that it's not
I
even
lived in
real because you go
delusion.
out and like, where's all that stuff? I don't see it,
I
you
don't
know?
see it either. I'm like, I question myself. They keep talking about these Nazi, these white supremacist Nazis that we're up against, and I'm thinking I have not met a white supremacist since the 1990s when they came to a punk show and they started shit.
Yeah.
I haven't. I can't remember the last time I had a conversation with a white racist because I don't affiliate with people like that. So I don't know what they're talking about. I live in Houston. It's a very diverse city. I think that if there are serious white racists, they live in rural towns where there's nothing but, other white
Right.
people. I guess I don't know. I don't know where these people are. But we hear about them constantly, and then I realized that the people we hear about constantly are people like us. We're the new brand of racist.
It's and what we kind of, let's kind of get into it, what our experiences are with that, you know, because we both had some we both have been called racist, and it's like so far from the truth that I don't even know. I mean, it's beyond me. Okay, I tell you my story real quick. It's really funny. So there is a bar here called the Lovecraft Bar. It's a goth bar. It's a horror styled, you know, club. It's really cool. And the interior, I haven't been there since they changed the name. So it used to be like everything inside was like based on the writings of Lovecraft, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So horror theme. It looked really cool. And then somebody, I don't know who, kind of like researched that Lovecraft was a racist, okay? So, and I didn't know that, and most people probably didn't know that or cared really, because this is about his work. This is about his writing. It's
Right.
not about his private life or opinion or whatever, you know? But anyway, so the word came out, oh, Lovecraft is a racist, okay? So we have to change the name of the bar now, you know?
Right.
And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Seriously, Lovecraft is cool because it's about his work and it's a cool name. And I was like thinking, hey, I mean, if you want to at least separate it, then Lovecraft, because that makes it more witchy, you know, it's like a witch thing, you know. But no, they changed it to Coffin Club.
Yeah.
And I was like, and you know what everybody was like, so this was on a Facebook group, you know, and everybody was like, oh, Coffin Club, how cool, how awesome, that sounds great. Yes, and you
Oh,
have to change
good.
the name because it's super racist. You gotta change the name, you know. And and I was the only one, and here's the black sheep reference. Black sheep, this is what black sheep means, people. And I was the black sheep saying I don't like it. I and
Right.
I said, and I quote myself, I said, that sounds like two teenage kids are in a goth phase and naming their treehouse.
Right. And they didn't like
And
that.
I
They don't
really
like
loved it.
they don't
I
like
think
it
it was
when
really clever, but I
they
was the only one who liked that comment, and I got banned from the Facebook group. I was banned. And then before I got banned, they called me racist. They called me I'm a racist because I do not approve or do not like that this club, and this club has been around for a while, you know, it's not just a club who just opened, you
it's
know.
been around longer than these kids, right? That are
Yeah, and you know, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, really? I mean, it's a name, okay? And this is not even something horrible, you know, like what Lovecraft, I don't know much about his private life, but I don't think he killed people. I don't think he did anything like horrible that, you know, that you say, okay, all right, you know, he really went over the line here and he did something really horrible, you know. And then these people just like, oh, let's change the name. And I don't know, I think it was ridiculous, and it was more ridiculous that they call me racist,
right.
where
Just because you think differently, and just because you have your own opinion, you're a racist,
mhm,
and that's not how it works. It,
it's it's absolutely not how it works. And you know, it's I don't know, I mean, I was just laughing because I was just thinking, are you freaking kidding me? Really? This is how it is? But and of course, I also need to mention none of these people actually knew me on a personal level, So
Yeah.
they just like making these assumptions. But here's my question before you can, I'm sorry, I know you have your own story and I like to
No, no,
talk
no, that's okay.
but no, I forgot what I was gonna say. But you know what? Tell your story. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, I didn't know I don't know what story to tell. What
Okay,
story
like
to tell?
okay, like was there any like occasion where you were called a racist for
Oh,
absolutely no reason?
okay. Well, there's been, you know what? I've never been called a racist until this past year. Um, and I feel like we've been canceled several times this past year, so I have to think of which scenario. I guess I can start with what first got us canceled, and it was sort of similar to yours because I'm an occultist. I'm into the occult. I practice white magic. Sorry, I talk with my hands a lot. I'm Italian, and I forgot that I do
Yeah,
that.
I do the same.
I'm seeing myself do all this shit, so I'm okay. Let me put my hands
I do
down.
the same.
So, anyways, I'm very familiar with Rudolf Steiner being, a top early 20th century occultist, a lot like Lovecraft, and he has a lot of works that I appreciate. But I don't know him that well, and I'm not a big fan. I just happened to post a meme of a beautiful quote of his. That is a beautiful spiritual quote that I saw and I liked it, so I posted it on my wall. And a fellow musician freaked out over my post, and she started ranting and raving in the comments and saying, he's a racist and blah, blah, blah. And I quickly deleted her comment and privately messaged her and said, okay, please try to calm down. Because she was very distraught over me. How dare I post a quote of a racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that I wasn't aware of. I mean, this freaked me out. I was like, what? I had no idea that he had racist writings or ideologies or whatever. So I messaged her trying to fix it, hoping that she would hear me out and be open to communicating, because that's what I do. I communicate with people. I believe in communication is key. And she's supposed to be my friend who knows me. So I just couldn't believe she automatically would assume the worst of me. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much.
Actually, can I stop you here right now? Let's continue with your story after the commercial.
Okay.
Because I don't want to stop you. This was like kind of like a good pause. So let's do it, and then let's finish with your story.
Okay.
ICL Call, a smart and reliable way to make international calls. Now you can call from anywhere in the world using ICL Call app without any roaming charges. You can also use our pinless services, not only in the UK but also from Europe, and call your loved ones abroad with competitive rates. Use ICL Call service from your landline, PC or any mobile phones. Register free on www.iclcall.com and start using the service that suits you.
Landlords. Enough is enough. It's about time. Unite and fight for your rights. Join NLA. That's Newham Landlords Association.co.uk. Have your say only with NLA. www.newham Newham Landlords Association.co.uk.
Hey, welcome back. Szilvi here. First of all, I want to say a shout out to Susan. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm very happy you're here, and thanks for the comment. And I'm sorry I keep missing comments because I'm so focused on my guests, what they're saying or what I'm saying. But thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. And Sky was just saying about her experience and that happened to her.
And I noticed. I'm going to tell you I'm going to finish my story, but I did post recently about cancel culture on my band, on our band page, and I'm getting a lot of negative. I've already lost like 10 followers, and a lot of negative, like a lot of people not liking my post. They're really offended by me fighting against cancel culture. Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely weird because you're my friend and I follow you and I see everything you say.
Yeah.
And all I can say is you're very spiritual. You see souls like I do. You respect everybody, no matter what they look like, no matter what their status is, no matter what backgrounds they come from. You're posting beautiful quotes. You are basically, like you mentioned, nowadays you're racist when you for all life and everything, when you totally respect everything on this planet, and that's and seeing that you're losing people over love, literally,
Yes.
because
Yes.
and I know you have told me in the past that you really love people, because I think I said something and you're like, well, I can't really agree with you because I love people, Sylvia. And then I felt kind of bad because I'm like, but you really love people, and
I
people don't see that, and they okay, I don't even know what they see.
actually, the people that do see it are the people that matter. That's all that. So where I'm at as far as fans on our band page, it really is about quality, not quantity. So if people aren't going to like us because they're not getting where I'm coming from, then I don't really want them being a fan of ours. I want people that get it. I want like-minded people who know right from wrong and see the difference between love and hate.
Right.
It's clear as day to me what the difference between love and hate. I don't understand why people can't see things for how they are, and how cancel culture is not a positive thing. And me and us speaking up against it, fighting against it, that is actually us having love for humanity and for the children. So I don't understand.
And to keep diversity alive, because we don't
Exactly.
want to become robots, we don't want to become the same.
That's so boring.
Conformity, no thank you.
That's so
No thank
boring.
you. Why would you want to be like everybody else? Why would you wanna think like
I've never
everybody
been.
else?
That's never been for me, and I don't even want to be part of the goth scene if it's going to be like that. People
Mhm.
think I got my feelings hurt that I've been kicked out of the goth scene. Well, let me tell you, I'm perfectly okay being kicked out because
Now let's get back to your story,
oh, my
because
story. My story. Okay, before we get sidetracked.
cancel culture is basically, and you know that firsthand because your band was dropped by the label.
Right. Yes.
So you were literally canceled. So you're speaking literally of out of experience, right?
And what really breaks my heart the most is that people don't stop to think that I'm actually a human being. I'm trying not to get emotional. This is happening accidentally. I'm not trying to get emotional here, but people, it's almost like people truly believe that I'm this horrible white supremacist, high priestess, Aryan occultist or something, and I don't deserve to be treated well. So it's okay to be hateful to me, but they don't stop and think that, maybe they're wrong about me. Maybe I'm actually a really good human being who's getting her heart broken by all this hate. It's um, anyways, that's what happened with this fellow artist musician who I really liked and cared about. So I thought she was my friend. I think I was very naive until 2020 hit.
Well,
But
but that's our downfall,
yeah,
since we are people who like see people in their soul, we get hurt because, and we are naive because we always give a chance for everybody, right? And just to, I'm sorry, I don't try to make you emotional here, but
no, it's
just for the
okay.
people to listen. So what happened was after that there was literally, I called it a witch hunt. What
Yeah,
happened in that
and
group?
it
That
was.
was
But
literally a modern day witch hunt. What happened to
right
you?
when I
Everybody started jumping on you, everybody, because one
well,
person called
let
wolf,
me finish. Let
and
me
then
finish.
everybody jumped on you.
I
And basically then the label said, okay, you know what? We are not signed with you any longer. And
Yeah,
so you lost your label because of that.
right. But what I wanted to say is that when I confronted her and I asked her, let's talk about this. I wasn't aware that he's a racist. I'm not a racist. I'm sorry that you're upset about this. And all she really had to say was, well, maybe if you weren't so wrapped up in your white privilege, you would have noticed that he is a racist or whatever. So that was.
I thought that's ridiculous, because how should we know? You quoted an artist, okay? You found a beautiful quote and you quoted it. Now, how many of us, this is a question to all of you, how many of us do actually know the background of most of the artists? When I talked to some people about this Lovecraft issue, they were like, oh, Lovecraft was a racist? I didn't know.
That's what they say about Rudolf Steiner.
Who knows? I mean, and here's the thing. I remember what I was gonna say. Here's the thing. When you hire a plumber, okay, or when you go have a surgery and the doctor saves your life, and does a major surgery on you, or you hire a builder to build your dream home. Do you know if they're racist? Do you know if they're religious? Do you know if they're homophobic? Do you know
Yeah,
if they're transphobic? Do you know anything about it? Or do you hire the people for their service? You hire the people for their service, and you really, maybe they're a wife beater. How do you know?
yeah,
How you don't know those things, and that's probably a good thing, because you might totally disagree with them, and you say, oh, or like, oh, what, you're a plumber and I hired you and you're not a vegan? Yeah, I mean, you know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's you never know. And maybe there was somebody in your life, maybe a surgeon saved your life, who is totally different in thinking and beliefs than what you do, you know so think about that for a moment. How many people you interact with and you getting service from or help from, and you don't know their private life. Now, I'm not saying I don't approve bad stuff. I don't approve violence in any shape or form.
yeah,
But when people throw these terms at you and get offended, and here's our bottom line is here in the show is just to show you the ridiculousness of,
right.
like Dr. Seuss books.
Yeah,
Okay, 6 Dr. Seuss books were pulled off the shelves. And how long has Dr. Seuss been? How long? How many generations grew up with Dr. Seuss? I
a
don't know.
lot.
A lot, like a lot. Okay, I mean, Dr. Seuss would be now 117 years old. When did he start writing books? I don't know. I don't know much about him. See, this is the point. I don't know much about him.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I could say 4 generations at least. 4 generations, maybe 5 generations grew up on Dr. Seuss books. And now are all these people who read Dr. Seuss racist? And and if you look at the Dr. Seuss books, it's like there's no racism in there, just because, there's like different colored little, they're not even people, little weird looking things, whatever, right? Um, and here's the point. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to cancel all these cultural um, things that show nothing but diversity just because some people think about nothing else but racism and think about nothing else like negativity, what you said.
And
because
see,
here's the thing, stop thinking about it. See, people stop thinking about racism, stop thinking about this negative stuff, and all of a sudden, if you clear your mind and you're gonna open that Dr. Seuss book and read it with that clear mind, you're gonna see it's like no big deal. It's really no big deal.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about this particular person that called me out originally, I later on heard that they mocked me when someone asked how I reacted to how they said, I'm in my white privilege or whatever. And they asked, well, how did she respond? And they said, white tears. Now you tell me what's racist.
Exactly. That is that. Yeah. If yeah. Totally. That is racist. That's just absolutely.
So what?
I mean, and I remember when this happened to, and it was super horrible. And I just don't even. I mean, I was just literally at my computer, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's not fair. Okay, so this is what really upsets me the most about what we're witnessing with this new. It's not even new, but this developing toxic movement is the double standards and the hypocrisy, right? So they're busy pointing out who the racists are, but when I get on Facebook and I look at my news feed, I don't see anyone being racist towards blacks. I don't see anyone being racist towards Latinos, but I do see plenty of white people being racist against their own race. Now, what is that about? That's all I see in my feed. White people this, white people that. Oh, white people, blah, blah, blah. How is it okay to be racist against white people?
How is it okay to be? Yeah, this is
and
like.
Then to top it off, it's white people prejudice against their own race. Yeah. And Black Lives Matter, for our international listeners, Black Lives Matter is mostly white people. It's not even. It's mostly a bunch of white people that actually have never stepped outside of their own culture. I mean, that's what I don't get is because most of my friends are brown. I mean, I have, my husband's Latino. I have a best friend that's from India. I have a best friend that's from Turkey. I have a lot of Persian friends. I have a lot of friends that aren't white. Right. And yet I'm the racist.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Let's continue after the break.
The people that call me out racist, I don't really see them hanging out with a lot of brown people. They're hanging out with other white people that call other white people racist.
Yeah. Let's continue with this after the break. Okay, I have to take a quick break, commercial break, and let's get into that, okay?
Okay.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about cancel culture, which is a really big issue, and Sky just brought up a really good point, saying that I mean it's just ridiculous how um, white people attack each other. It's ridiculous that we attack each other in general.
Hmm.
You know, I while you were talking, I was also um, thinking that. Um, it's I don't even know. It just so many things go in my are in my head right now that I
I
don't even.
know, I know. There's so
It,
much to be covered.
it's so much to cover. It just okay. So one of my issues with this is that what is with these people who shout out instantly, oh, homophobe, racist,
Hmm.
this and
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
I mean, if you know you're not, who do you, what are you trying to prove? You
The
know,
whole virtual signaling too. It's
it totally is because, like, I'm not going on Facebook right now and attack people just so everybody can see that I'm not a racist, that I'm not a homophobe, I'm not a transphobe. I I always in my life, and I grew up the same way. I always thought that people are just people. I never even nothing even entered my mind, you know. And I believe also if you look at children, you know, really small children, they will play with each other. It doesn't matter what color or whatever or how they dress. Little kids, they don't have prejudice and stuff, you know, like they play with each other because they just see another kid. That's what they
yeah.
see. And I don't know at what point this switch happens where you and why does it happen, but I think we go
It
back to
happens because it's
the media.
taught. It's racism is taught.
But yeah, we go back to the media, and the media is also, I mean, the media is just toxic in general. I mean,
Well,
don't get me started with like how women's supposed to look and stuff like that. Don't get me started with all the, you know, like the low self-esteem it causes for women, especially, you know, because the
yeah,
media just projects something. This is how it has to be. So we
right.
kind of go back to the media, what the
Mhm.
media pushes us to believe, and also this separation in disguise, you know, like, you know, in disguise, I'm saying, because it, on the front it seems like, oh, our group is recognized, or, you know, our minority is recognized, oh, great, great, great. But
Yeah.
there's minorities recognized that it just separates us in smaller and smaller and smaller groups. Look, I'm doing the hand thing too. um, and that is, in my opinion, toxic, because the more little groups you have, the
Yeah.
more opportunity you get to point fingers and to start hating.
Exactly. It's just making further divisions, you know, and here again, this is what I can't stand is the whole Trump thing. Like, no, I don't really want to talk about politics, but is it okay if I do?
Yeah, I do it. I'm not really into politics, but if you
I'm
have a
not either. But that's my point. I am not political. I have never voted my whole entire life. Uh,
neither do you.
but the thing is, I haven't spent the last 4 years hating Trump. I didn't say I liked him, but I haven't spent 4 years putting all this energy into hating him and bashing him all the time because
Mhm.
I've chosen to do other things with my energy. But because of that, because I haven't spent all this energy into proving that I hate him, I'm automatically a Trump supporter.
Yeah, I already knew it
Or
as soon as you started.
or
That's
if I
reason.
just point out something that makes sense, but it sounds like I'm sticking up for him, I'm a Trump supporter. And it's like, no, that doesn't make me a Trump supporter.
I
Um,
know, you know, that happened to
so,
me too. That
so
happened to me too.
that's just my disclaimer where what I'm about to say. Uh, I'm about to say something, and people might take it the wrong way and say I'm a Trump supporter. But it's fun. It's interesting how people have blamed Trump for all the divisions that we're seeing. But Trump is not responsible for all these identity politics and all this constant. He's not doing all these divisions. It's not. I mean, he's no longer in the office, and yet they're constantly still pushing the agenda of dividing us even further by doing what you said. Just the whole just we have to have all these pronouns now, and we have to have all these groups, and we have to. It's God, it's just
It's horrible. It's
amazing.
yeah, and you know, and that's the thing. I was called a Trump supporter too because I'm not shouting out my hatred, but you know, people who know me and people who know you, we're very similar. We're very loving people, and we just literally put our energy into love and spreading love and waking people up. That's a good thing. I'm not gonna, you know, like why waste my energy being angry?
Doesn't it feel like we're the bad? Like it's a you're a criminal to be a loving, peaceful person today. That
Yeah.
is, we're under persecution,
Yeah.
and you know why?
It's, I mean,
Because this is an upside. Everything's upside down. And I think the younger generation is very, very confused. But I know right from wrong. How can you not know right from wrong? I don't understand. How can you not see the difference between love and hate?
you don't understand, but the thing is also this that we were talking about like yesterday or whenever, you know, this insecurities. People are insecure with themselves, and
Bingo.
of course they get offended, and then when they get offended they have to say something and hurt somebody and point a finger.
They have
It's
to.
a pretty
Yeah.
normal reaction, but it's not the right reaction, you know. Like I'm gonna do here like an example, and I don't know if I'm gonna be hated for it or not. Let's
Probably.
say let's
Not
say
by me.
somebody's fat, okay, and there's okay, obese, fat, whatever, however you want to call it. But we know obese and fat is the same thing, and it's just words. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to be disrespectful or anything to anybody, but there's two type of overweight people. The one type is totally happy with themselves. They like their curves, they like how they appear, and they happy, and they love to eat, and they okay with it. And then there are the people who don't love them
Yeah.
being overweight, and
Yeah.
they're miserable and bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I would, let's say, I'm not gonna post anything like that because it's not like me, but let's say I would say something about fat people, okay? Now, what do you think? Who will get offended? Which of those two types will get
Right.
offended?
Exactly. You're. Mm-hmm.
The person who loves their curves, they're gonna be like, whatever, I love my
Yeah.
curves, yay,
Exactly.
you
They know
know?
who they are. It doesn't
And I
matter
would
what.
be like,
Yeah.
good for you, whatever.
Right.
But the bitter, miserable people, they would say something poisonous and toxic to me, okay?
Yep.
And like I said, this is an extreme. I'm not a bully. I'm not gonna put anybody down. It's not me. This is just an example. You
Yeah.
get the point. So
Right.
the point is, you know, when somebody's insecure, they're gonna be offended.
Mm-hmm.
But this is now getting to a ridiculous level where like Uncle Ben's Rice is gonna rebrand. You know, I mean, come on. And how long has that been around, that brand? Like ancient, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Janina or whatever, how is it
Right.
spelled? Maple syrup, gonna be rebranded.
And
Six
her
dollars.
family is pissed off about that. Did you hear about her family being pissed off about that?
Yeah, I bet it's I mean it's if anything, I see accomplishment there.
Exactly.
You
And,
know,
and so even her own family's like, this is ridiculous.
it's you know, where people with the toxic mindset, oh, everything is racism, that family achieved something. She became a famous person. She made a life and an income and a living and a legend for herself. And that's going to be taken off the shelves now
Mhm.
because of these kind of people.
And her family's pissed off about that. Are they racist? Well, they can't be. They're not. They're black. So that's another thing. Do people not? That's another thing. Because I have black friends, and I probably have more black friends than any of these people. So I don't mean to brag, but I have friends from all over the world. Because I've lived like I said earlier, I've lived my life. I've lived my life in the flesh. I meet people in the flesh. I travel. I have experiences. I listen to people's stories. I listen to people that come from third world countries. I listen to people that come from Iran. I hear it all. And I have amazing Black friends that are very open-minded, and they tell me things. But somehow their voices don't count because it's going against the mainstream narrative. So it's funny how Black Lives Matter, but only to certain Black lives.
Yeah.
If you're a conservative Black guy, you're just an Uncle Tom, or if you're a free thinking Black guy, you're an Uncle Tom, or Anyways.
Yeah, but can you believe it? We already ran out of time, so we have a few
dark.
So with that said, this is a kind of good ending to the show because we were talking about friends, and I want to give a shout out to Valentine, my friend in London, hey, who is listening and watching. And I want to give a shout out to
my Valentino. This is my Valentino.
And I want to give out a shout out to all our my friends, and Sky, you can do yours then. So I'm gonna give a shout out to all my friends, and I appreciate you guys all, and I appreciate all the listeners and viewers who tuned in today or will tune in. You're seeing that on our archives on YouTube and on Facebook, and and I'm just saying one more thing, and then I give the mic over to Sky real quick. Just love each other, people. Okay. Don't see the differences, see the things that are common between us. That's the way to go. You're up now.
I'm up now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got 1 minute.
I don't know what to say.
Just address your friends because we were talking about friends.
I don't know.
Okay. Sky loves her friends too.
Okay, yes, I love my friends very much. I just don't know if I'm gonna, because I'm just shy about seeing myself on the video. But
oh yeah, me too. Don't worry about it.
I just want to give a shout out to all the free thinkers that have been hurt and heartbroken by their friends throwing them away because of their opinions and beliefs. Just know that there is millions of people who feel the same way you do, and we all need to unite as a collective and lean on each other. So I guess that's about it.
Yeah, that was very beautiful. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I know we could go on and on about this forever.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful topic, and we really condensed it into 1 hour. So unfortunately, but maybe we do another one sometime, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for being here. And thanks for everybody for being here. Have a nice day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.